Hey, this is Allison with Saratech. Today we're going to talk about some useful things to make your day-to-day life using NX a little bit easier. For large parts and assemblies, you may want to work in a small area. Once you zoom in, if you just try to rotate the part, the area you want to work might rotate out of the view. The trick is to hold down your middle mouse button, wait till it highlights a face, and it'll rotate about the highlighted face instead. This tip is great when working with large assemblies or assemblies with a lot of levels. Select the component that you want to find in the Assembly Navigator, right-click in the Assembly Navigator, and choose Expand to Selected. You can also choose Expand to Work if you have a work part active, Expand to Loaded if you only have certain parts loaded, or Expand to Visible if you only have certain parts visible. You might find yourself in a situation where you need to edit a large assembly, but you don't want to load the entire assembly. You can either go up to Assembly Load Options. I recommend changing to Structure Only if you find yourself dealing with large assemblies often. Or when you go to open the part, go down to Options and choose Structure Only so that these options are applied only to the assembly you're currently opening. I'll open up our assembly here. And you can see it loads only the structure, and I can go through and choose specific subassemblies or components that I want to see without having to load everything in the assembly. Here's a trick I've been asked about a couple of times. Let's say I want to place a dimension up here. I'm gonna go select these center lines. And you can see as I try to place this dimension, it's kind of trying to snap to these dimensions that I already have. And sometimes that's a really useful way to keep your drawing organized, but sometimes for those really crazy, gnarly drawings, it's just going to mess you up. All you have to do is hold down the Alt key, and now I can move this dimension around and place it pretty much wherever I want. Sometimes when you're placing dimensions, you'll notice you get this on-screen dialogue that pops up. Some people like it to pop up almost immediately, other people like it to wait a few seconds so they can make sure they got that dimension exactly where they want it before having the dialogue pop up. You can change that in your customer defaults. Under Drafting on the General Setup page, click the Workflow tab and scroll down to Pause Delay for on-screen dialogue. And you can set this to anywhere from 0 to 5 seconds. I have it set to 4. I don't recommend setting it to 0, that makes it a little challenging to place your dimensions, and 5 seems like a little bit long to wait. So I recommend setting it to 4, but play around with that and see what you like. This tip is all about annotation inheritance, and that means you can set the settings on one annotation and then select others to inherit settings from that annotation. Let's say I want to take a look at these 3 dimensions. Maybe they're defining some datums or something. Right-click this one, go up to Settings. I want to show trailing zeros to get that tight tolerance in there. And I'll go up to Tolerance, and since I'm defining a datum with this, I want it to be a basic dimension. And so great, that's one done. But if I have a whole bunch, maybe I have couple of datums to define, doing those button clicks over and over again is not going to be fun. So I'm just going to select both of these, right click, go to Settings, under Inherit, Settings Source, I'm going to choose Selected Object, select the first dimension that I changed, close that, and now you can see these two have inherited all the settings from this one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're interested in any other tips and tricks we might have, check out some of our other YouTube videos, or come pay us a visit at saratech.com. Thanks.